and welcome to another painting and chatting and kind of review-ish video. And today I am painting with a really beautiful little set of gouache from South Korea. And I actually randomly found this on Amazon when I was just hunting for Cyber Week deals. I literally typed in gouache, I think, and was just scrolling through all of the listings. And I saw the pretty little thumbnail of the little blue box, and I'm like, what on earth is this? I'd never even heard of it before. So, of course, I clicked it. And from what I've been able to find out, Sui is actually an illustrator from South Korea. And I'm sorry in advance if I pronounced that wrong. I couldn't find anything online about how to say that correctly. So I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name. But anyways, she is an illustrator from South Korea, and she basically decided that she wanted to create her own set of gouache using the colors that she mostly mixed and used, I think. So that's what she did. And also, for the sake of transparency, this is not a paid promotion. I bought this paint with my own money on Amazon because I was intrigued by it and I wanted it, and the packaging was pretty. So anyway, so this set, wait, I'm fixing my blanket. I'm also under a blanket right now, trying to make my audio sound pretty. So I hope it sounds nicer. But anyways, so this set comes with 12 colors, and there's actually pigment and light fast information on all of the colors. And I'm going to type all that up and include it in the description below, because I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me drone on about numbers, because you just don't. Nobody wants to hear that. But it comes with colors that I believe the illustrator really liked to mix and use. And the colors that she chose are extremely unique. And I think they're really, really beautiful. And I am just swatching them all here so you guys can see what they all look like. There is also a little color recipe chart that is included with the set. And it basically just shows the colors that you can create from the 12 included colors. And I thought that was a really thoughtful addition, because I know that not everybody is good at color mixing, myself included. So I thought that was really awesome. The paints are described as a professional gouache, an artist quality gouache. But again, I don't speak Korean or read Korean, and I'm not entirely sure if that's a correct translation that Amazon has given me. So take that with a grain of salt. And if anybody knows anything about this paint, please totally reach out to me and let me know, because I really enjoyed painting with it. I will say, at first when I opened it, I was like, these are really tiny tubes. I think the tubes are only 7.5 millimeters a piece. And I'm like, I'm gonna bleed through this paint. I'm literally just gonna just run through it like water. But when I was actually painting with it, even just swatching, I realized I hardly had to use any. So I feel like the paints are really loaded with pigment. And the set itself is how much was it? It was $45-ish US, something like that, which I thought was a little expensive at first. But once I started painting with it, then I'm like, well, this does seem like artist quality gouache, and it has really good coverage. And I don't know, I thought it was cool. So that's about the extent of my reviewing that I can give you guys. I will say that my favorite of the colors, as usual, are the orange, the yellow, which is kind of like a Naples yellow, and that vibrant red. And I love them. I really love that orange. It's the prettiest color. So, but yeah, here are all the swatches that you can see. Here are the colors. I guess they are swatches. Here are all the colors that are in this set. And now it's time for first test painting. So when I recorded this video, this was literally the first time that I had used this paint at all. I did some swatches, and then I did some really unaesthetic doodles at the bottom of the swatch sheet that we're not going to look at all, because they're not cute. So I took some of that really light blue. I need to look at the color names, but I'm lazy, so we're not going to. I mixed the lighter blue with the white and just started painting. I don't really I guess it depends. Sometimes I am really intently into sketching out something before I paint it. Like if it's a very particular thing where things need to be in a very particular place, like if it's very symmetrical or something. But as a general rule, I just kind of slap paint on the page and just hope it works out. I'm using a detail brush for this entire little sketch painting, and I honestly don't know why I decided I was going to use the detail brush for the whole thing. I feel like that was a bad decision because it made it take way longer, especially at the start. But I did, and that's what it is, and it was fine. But I'm using it's a truckle, I think that's how you say it, a truckle. It's a truckle size 20 liner brush, and I love this brush. It brings me so much joy. And I had a really hard time with details when I first started painting, getting those thin lines. And then, I don't know, I just realized one day that it was because I was globbing too much paint on the brush. And so now when I dip it into the paint, I don't just smash it in there. I just kind of twirl the brush onto the paint. And so I'm kind of twirling the brush into a really fine tip. And then that helps me get a prettier line, as you can see by all these little lines here. And I was actually really happy when I painted this because I'd always had such a hard time with painting lines, really thin lines. And I realized that they finally have started to turn out the way I wanted, which I think is always cool. You know, when you see yourself improving, it makes you feel like you haven't just been I don't know, not improving, I guess. That was not deep at all. But anyways, I'm just adding more little lines to the bottom and, little dots. So I really I don't know, when I create my illustrations, I really like to use really simple color palettes. So literally just 3 colors, maybe 4 or 5. I think in this one, I ended up using technically just 3 colors, but there were, I guess, 4. It was technically 4 colors, but the blue had a lighter and a darker shade. So I left this in just because I kind of wanted to show how good this gouache is at covering up things that you ruin. So I painted I don't know what I was thinking. I somehow painted really terrible highlights on the top of the blue and they looked bad. And so I just waited for them to dry and then I covered them up. And I was pleasantly surprised with how good of a job the paint did in covering up my mistake. And I know that gouache is generally a medium that people say, oh, well, you can cover it other things, you can cover stuff up. But sometimes it's hard because some paints are way more transparent than others and you can't necessarily cover up your mistakes. So I was happy that this worked. But anyways, for the little yellow background that I'm doing here, I basically just used that baby yellow color. It's called baby yellow, but to me it just looks like a Naples yellow. So this Naples-y yellow color just straight out of the tube. And I think it looks really, really pretty. And I was really happy with the way the little sketchbook test turned out. Hooray! All right, so now we are going to paint a large real painting. I mean, I guess the other one was a real painting too, but it wasn't in my sketchbook. So I'm taking the red and I'm just, again, using it straight out of the tube. I generally like to I'm really into color mixing and I'm not that great at it, but I like doing it. But I thought for the sake of a review-ish thing, I would use more tube-ish colors. So yeah. That's what that is, just right out of the tube. And then for the background, I wanted it to just be really, really light and creamy. So I mixed the baby yellow color with a lot of white. And as you guys can see, I hardly really, I used just a tiny bit of paint and it covered the entire page. And I think this The sheet is like, I think the painting area is about 6 by 8 inches, give or take. So I feel like that was pretty good coverage. And like I said, these tubes are really small, but the paint coverage is quite nice. So anyway, the set doesn't include a black, and I'm just mixing my own basically, or like a really, really dark brown. I just took the chocolate and then the red and the blue that I'm using, and I think I put some green in there too. I don't remember. I just like threw a bunch of colors in there and created my own black. And I like to do that better than just using a tube black, because I think that for my style of illustration, tube blacks end up being really, really harsh. But if I mix my own black using the colors that are in the illustration, then it kind of ties everything together a little bit more. What am I doing now? I'm like watching myself. And now all I notice is like my hair on the paper, which is, I have a lot of hair. Like I have very long hair and it just gets everywhere. Like my shower is always clogged. So happy TMI Miley day. But I am back to using this little 20-0 liner brush, which I am obsessed with, just to make the leaves of my little alien flower thing. And I do really love this brush. I think it's perfect for the type of detailing that I like to do. And it did a really good job here. So that's what I'm doing now. It is kind of like, it's a weird thing talking about what I'm doing, like watching myself doing it and then like talking about it. It's like trying to analyze yourself in a way that sounds professional and technical, and I'm just not that good at it. So you guys get rambling Miley instead. But okay, this is something I didn't realize that I did. So I am an extremely visual person in the sense that I need to see something. I can't like picture it in my head very well sometimes. And so if you watch my hands, I'm like constantly like moving the brush around. Like I'm kind of like trying to like mentally stamp the stars there before I paint them, because I'm so afraid of like ruining the entire thing, because I knew at this point I was really happy with where this was going. And so that's what I'm doing when I'm just like pointing around with the brush. But now I'm making another shooting star, hooray, with the tiny brush. And I really did try to keep my paper in the same place for this video. And I don't know, I'm like the kind of person, I literally just move my paper every which way. And I'm not really good at painting on an easel either. I tried that. It doesn't really work for me. I like need to paint on my flat table. So, yay, more stars. Just adding a bunch of stars. I know that meteor shower, there's like a big meteor shower coming up soon on like the 21st of December. I love meteor showers. I remember one time when I was a kid, we got up really early, like 3 or 4 in the morning. We lived in Gulf Shores, and we got up to go like watch the meteor shower on the beach. And I just remember like we tried to take pictures and it didn't work very well. But then I remember this one giant shooting star. It was like the biggest shooting star I had ever seen. And whenever I think of shooting stars, like in a technical sense, it's literally that star. So, but anyway, hooray! We are now at the end of the painting video, and peeling this tape off is like my favorite thing to do. It's very satisfying. And hooray! And you know, it's funny, I didn't have a signature for any of my stuff until recently. Like I felt weird signing my own paintings, which I know sounds strange, but I did. And now I don't, so it's fine. And I think my signature works. So anyways, I just wanted to thank you guys all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!